Got good news here. Let's start off right here. 273 today, so that's lost 32 pounds. I was stuck at 275 for a while, but finally broke through, so now 273 has lost 32, started at 305, so that's the good news. So glad to be able to report that. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today was some psychological patterns that happen in the marketplace. On Friday, we had a very interesting situation here. In the Globex market had come down, the price had come down, like, overnight. Then it came back up, formed a swing pivot high to the left here, did so on increased volume here, increased volume at this point. So you had increased volume here, increased volume there. And then what happened is that you would have noticed that we had the prior day's gap, which was above us. So here's what happens, is that a lot of the instructors teach people, say, okay, if you got a gap here, if it's a 40-point gap on the YM or 4 or 5-point gap on the ES, they say make sure that you do a 4 or 5-point, 6-point gap on there, price opens, place your stop, and then hope that it doesn't come down, take you out, and then goes up and fills the gap. So a lot of times that people have that, and so the smart money knows that that's how the people are teaching. A lot of people are teaching people to play the gap that way. So what I do is I pay attention to the opening first. The opening price, as I indicated on the previous video, I draw the line for the opening price across there so that I'm looking for the open. I don't play the gap this way. I'm not saying that you can't play the gap this way. But I don't play when it opens, and if it starts going toward the prior day's close, I just won't play the gap. I'm not going to play it that way. What I wait for is that for the market to come down and get some volume on this side of the open, and then it starts to come back in this direction to complete the gap. So that's when I'm interested, after we've got some volume on this side of the gap. Then when we cross the open, then I'm interested in going from here to there, or here to 50% of there, let it come back, and then come back to complete the gap at 50 in 2 stages. So it either completes it in 1 stage or completes it in 2 stages. So what I'm doing here is that I wait for this, like I said, for the volume to come down. Now, on Friday's price action, what happened was this, is that we got that volume on this side of the open, and then the market started to shoot back up. So I got in this trade, and so I got in this trade, and then I take partial, depending on how you do it. I do it in halves. So I started to take some profits here, and then I noticed something. I noticed that it wasn't breaking through to the left here, this swing pivot that was formed in the Globex. Now, I went back, looked at the volume, so the volume was lighter here. So we had much more volume at this point in time, and we had enough volume to break through to continue. Now, the fact that we didn't break through, that was a significant cause of concern for me, because I said we had enough volume to break through. And so this is where we were, and so what happened was I closed out my position. I called one of my students, and I said, hey, this thing didn't take out this swing pivot to the left here. Be careful about going long. Now, we had also, what was happening then, we had the consumer price sentiment that was coming out at 5 minutes before the hour, not the regular 9 o'clock kind of time that the things come out. So it was coming out 5 minutes before. So being aware of that, I called one of my students. I said, hey, be careful. Do not go long here. I see a concern here. And bam, that market then just shot right down. And so it just saved him, because he was about ready to go long. Saved him some money. But the most important thing that I'm trying to share with you today was for you to understand the psychology of why that happened. What happened is that we had a swing pivot to the left. It had formed on a certain amount of volume. Now we had more volume, more than enough volume to break through, so that it should cause to go ahead and complete the gap as normal, as it would normally do, if there's anything such as normal. But the fact is that it didn't. When it did not break that gap, that swing pivot to the left, that was a key component for you to say, wait a second, something's wrong. So you needed to take action immediately. And then if you understand the psychology behind it, what the smart money knew is that they had a whole lot of gaps right here. I mean, a whole lot of people with gaps here, a whole lot of people playing the gap play up. So they knew that they were going to catch a lot of people here. And they shot that thing down and then shot it down here. And then it had, 2 or 3 big bars right there. And then it just so, and then that was the low of the day, it turns out. And then it just drifted sideways gradually, and then it came up, and then it just did that, and then finished out just below the open, so it actually finished out down here someplace. And truthfully, this really looked like this, if I remember correctly. So it was just about like that. But anyway, the important piece is to understand the psychology of what happened. Make sure that you pay attention the next time you're in some kind of trade. If the price action comes up, doesn't break that swing pivot to the left, that's an important clue for you to make sure to be aware. And then watch out for the news, because the news took that thing right down. It had more than enough volume to take it out, but didn't. Those were your clues. Understand the psychology of what happened in that particular section. The other thing that I wanted to make sure that I share with you is this. If you're trading, make sure that you believe in your system and have confidence in your system. Just because you have 1 day or 2 days where, let's say, you don't make the kind of money that you want to make, or things don't go as well as you would like them to go, it doesn't mean your methodology is wrong. It just may mean that you just were not in sync with the market that particular day. You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You've got to first become very consistent on what you believe and what your methodology is telling you. Understand your methodology, memorize your methodology, have the patience to wait, have the patience to believe in your system, especially if you had a bad day or two. Believe in yourself, believe in your system, take action. Understand these kind of psychological patterns when they happen, and then you can be prepared for that, and then know how to consistently grab money out of the marketplace every single day. It's up to you to keep your mindset right, and then learn your patterns right, so that you can make money in the marketplace every single day. Thank you, and have a great trading week.